It was hell.
Does she have any other kids that she's called?
No. That's a baby, so I would say. But it was crazy. She threw a fit. She said she's not going to go in until, we have to stop and her husband has to come out and we have to do the whole dancing again. But I was like,
You didn't switch up to your Rubbin and beg her.
Mommy, it's my daughter.
The thing is,
you want to say something?
Yeah, the thing is, I once had a wedding where the event planner was telling me that they want the event to start by 12, and this, I was like, okay, me, that I know.
It won't happen.
I said I'll get there 11, like you asked me to. I always get there 1 hour before time, but I can bet you that this event is not going to start until 1:30. I'm sure. I got there 2 o'clock. I looked at the event planner like this. But the thing is, coming from the show angle, like a show, for instance, if you say you want to start a show 6, it is technically impossible for you to start a show without the audience. Most show organizers will not want to go ahead
and perform to an empty crowd.
So perform to an empty crowd. That's why they try to use openers, which I've done for a very long time, and it's really not funny. So it's not funny to do comedy to an audience. Trust me.
To appease them.
So it is difficult, but that's the only way. The only way to stop African timing in Nigeria, or else it will continue, because there will be 1 or 2 people that will come at 6, and they've not started anything. Next time they will not come at 6.
But is it? I mean, it's African time in Nigeria, but do you think this happens in other African countries? It's more like a Nigerian time thing, because have you had any experience outside?
I think here it's just a little bit worse, but it is African time, because in Ghana, for example, I know, okay, it's meant to be this time. My Ghanaian will say, really? Okay, so I'll wake you up, this is maybe at 12. Okay, so we'll wake up at 11, then we'll go for breakfast. I'm like, I don't understand. It's meant to start at 12. The event's meant to start at 12. So sometimes we're a bit worse, because, we're just...
where was?
I once hosted a company gig. The MD is Ghanaian.
Okay.
And they told us the event is going to start for 4 or 6. I can't remember at the time, the man was walking around. He was already there. Even the workers had not come. They were in the building. They were still in the building. It wasn't like a distance. They were doing it outside their office, like just on the compound. And the MD had come down. The MD was the first person to get there at the right time. And I'm looking at, okay, a typical Nigerian MD won't do that.
But did you start?
Everybody saw their MD downstairs, so immediately everybody started rushing in. But
what's the role of leadership? I mean, since you're talking about the role of leadership, not just with an event planner or comparing, but generally this permeates into all facets of our lives. Do you think the leaders are more responsible for breaking that jinx in terms of getting to work on time, leaving on time, or is it the workers that should imbibe that? What role do you think leaders have? Let's start with the leaders.
It sort of comes top bottom. So, and it's not just leaders as in leaders, I think even leaders as in parents and everything. So growing up, for example, if we had a party and we hated it, we'll have a party for 4. My dad is like an alarm clock. He will be there at 4. There is nobody in the place. They've not even finished setting up the place. And then he's like, we're here for 2 hours. My mom will be like, but in 2 hours, nobody will have started. It's like, no, they put 4 on the invite. We are going to be there at 4, and that was all. So, I grew up with that mentality. Once it's 4 on the invite, Daddy, you already know that, forget that party, you guys are not even going to eat anything. You will just go, and maybe after his 1 hour, 2 hours, he'll get up and be like, okay, thank you, sir. But we have not yet started. Don't worry, you've seen us. So it's something like that. And then, at work as well, in the offices, it has to come from the top bottom, because we can be very lackadaisical. But if you see that, like you said, if you see that the MD, for example, or your line manager or whatever it is says, come at 3 p.m. for a meeting, and at 3 p.m. really a meeting begins, it just sort of, it's slowly, but it would just help you to reorientate yourself.
It's okay. You have an event for 3. You've been invited for an event for 3. You get there at 3. 3:30 hasn't started, and you leave. What would you feel bad about that, being that you actually came on time?
Can I give you a practical example?
Yeah, please do.
I had this wedding on the island. Event planner, 11, I'm always there. 10 minutes to 11, I'm almost there. And he calls me, where are you? I'm like, okay, Not like that's how she was talking, but that's how I imagined that. Like, where are you? I'm like, I'm almost there. I'm 11. I got there 11. Bam. It was one of those weddings. Now, that wedding didn't start till 5 p.m. And I had another gig. I had to perform somewhere else at 7:30. So I left them in the middle. I told them. They even understood. Thank God there was nobody dragged.
But you were paid in full.
Of course, I was paid in full.
And you made it for the other time.
I made it for the other one.
As an event planner, would you hold him responsible for leaving?
You can't.
But you have.
You can only beg me.
That's exactly. It's literally at that point. Just imagine.
No, but what about a wedding, for example, is a once in a lifetime event for that couple. He leaves. You have this hall filled with people, no MC. What would you do? Would you explain to the crowd that the events, how do you handle that as an event planner if the MC leaves on time? In
a situation like that, what may have, and I don't know what the exact situation was, but sometimes what happens is, he'll have told you maybe after 2 hours, look, I have a gig at 4, you say I have a gig at 5, I need to leave here at 5. At that point, you start looking for contingency plans. Even if it's one under the bridge, or you beg him that, do you have anybody that can just come and stand in and, whatever it is. You find or
you just beg him and add more money.
Or you can add more money. But I was nice enough, though. I was nice enough to start till... I knew that I could not just leave them in a limbo. So I started till... And there was one, luckily they had a family member that was always coming to me. Those people, always very overzealous. I'm like, this is a very good candidate too. And since you want to start, Daddy, you can... And he's an old man, I say, you can start this, better late than never.
So should we give you, on the spot, cracking a joke about African time? Do you have any material for us? You've not even said the material, bro. It's just...
I have a joke on time.
Okay.
But I like to do word plays.
Okay.
So here it goes. Do you know that jollof rice in church tastes the best? Why?
Why?
Because God's time is the best.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will be coming right back after the break. Thank you very much, SLK. Bonak, thank you very much. We have a Nollywood actress in the studio with us. She goes by the name Doris Simeon. Who is she? If you do not know, well, stick around and find out after the break. Just